Section 28 of Sun, Moon and Stars. Astronomy for Beginners. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Jennifer Beckett Wood. Sun, Moon and Stars. Astronomy for Beginners by Agnes Giberne. Further thoughts. My right hand hath spanned the heavens. Isaiah 48:13. Early in the year 1892, a new star appeared in the constellation Auriga, winning much attention. On December the 10th, 1891, it made its first appearance suddenly as a star of the 5th magnitude. 2 days earlier, no star so bright as even the 9th magnitude had been visible in that part of the heavens. On the 20th of December it reached its brightest. On the 8th of February it was again only a star of the 5th magnitude, and after the 7th of March there were remarkable swayings to and fro of the intensity of the light, set up probably by commotions attendant on the cause of its outburst. These lessened, and the star fell steadily to only the 11th, and then by the 1st of April to the 14th magnitude. At the end of April it was still faintly visible. Nova Aurigae, as this brilliant stranger has been named, showed under the spectroscope a rainbow-tinted ribbon in which splendid groups of bright lines stood out from a paler background. The red ray of hydrogen, Fraunhofer's C, glowed like a danger signal on a dark night. A superb quartet of rays shone in the green. Shimmering blue bands and lines drew the eye far up towards the violet. The characteristic blazing spectrum, in fact, of a new star was unmistakably present. The interpretation left no doubt that hydrogen played a large part in the conflagration. Nor was this all that the spectroscope had to say. At the close of the last chapter, brief mention was made of the mode in which the coming nearer or passing away of a star may be discovered. With the spectrum of Nova Aurigae, an extraordinary thing was seen. There were distinct and unmistakable signs, not of approach alone, or of a receding movement alone, but of both simultaneously. At one and the selfsame moment, the nova appeared to be speeding away from us at a rate of 200 or 300 miles per second, and rushing towards us at much the same rate, the sum of the two motions together amounting to no less than about 550 miles per second. At first this was explained by a conjecture that Nova Aurigae might consist of two stars, one of the two hurrying towards us and the other hurrying away from us. But the two-star explanation is already being given up, and astronomers are inclined to think that the rush to and fro is probably only of heated gases on the turbulent surface of the star. For Nova Aurigae, like many or most other stars, is most likely a mass of intensely heated and glowing gases, forcibly compressed within by gravitation and spreading outside far away into a furiously excited incandescent atmosphere. In any case, the history of the nova is a remarkable one, and apparently we have not yet come to the end of it. After steadily waning to a very faint star, it has begun again to increase in brightness. What course it will follow in the future, time alone can show. Mention has more than once been made, in this revised edition, of the probable presence and absence of atmospheres on different heavenly bodies, and of apparent reasons for the same. An atmosphere is formed of gas particles or gas molecules in rapid motion. There are different gases, and the particles of one gas differ in speed from those of another gas. Moreover, the colder any gas is, the more slowly its particles move. The hotter any gas, the more vehemently its tiny molecules dash to and fro, incessantly striking against other molecules and striving to escape. If this is the case with our atmosphere, Why should not all the particles of air escape in the course of time, passing into distant space and forsaking us utterly? So unquestionably they would do, but for the restraining force of gravitation. Struggle as they may to get away, Earth's strong attraction holds them in leash, and they cannot flee. Our atmosphere consists mainly of oxygen and nitrogen, and the oxygen gas is essential for animal life. No free hydrogen gas floats in our atmosphere, although enormous quantities of it are present in the sun. It is very possible that once upon a time Earth possessed hydrogen gas also in her air, and that she has lost it since. For the particles of hydrogen are exceedingly rapid in their motions, far more so than the particles of oxygen or nitrogen. Therefore, they need a much stronger restraint to hold them in. And while Earth is large and dense enough to keep her nitrogen and oxygen gases prisoners, she has not, it would seem, sufficient attractive power to hold in hydrogen. If Mars has an atmosphere, or Mercury, we may say with tolerable confidence that no free hydrogen exists in it, because neither Mars nor Mercury could be expected to hold fast the rapidly journeying particles of hydrogen gas. It has even been calculated that, very probably, Mars is somewhere about the smallest world which can permanently retain an atmosphere. We have already seen that the Moon, so far as we can discover, has no atmosphere. If ever the Moon did possess one, it has doubtless all wandered away, because her attractive power was too weak to keep it. This is not merely a guess. The speed of different gas particles is accurately known, and the strength of gravitation needed to control them is known also. It is no difficult matter to find out about how heavy a world must be to overcome by attraction the impetus of the busy little gas molecules. But while the Moon perhaps could not keep any atmosphere, and while the Earth might be unable to hold in bondage an atmosphere of hydrogen gas, the Sun has no such difficulty. His enormous bulk gives such enormous attractive power that the hydrogen in his atmosphere, though violently heated and furiously excited, is still under control. A most natural, though wide, step carries us from the restless gas particles breaking loose from control to the larger restless heavenly bodies which appear to do precisely the same thing. In our solar system we have worlds and satellites, comets and meteors, under the Sun's command, obedient to his attractive power. We have also wandering comets, occasional and passing visitants, travelling at so rapid a pace that all the great attraction of the Sun fails utterly to hold them in, and they plunge into the depths of space, never to return. In our stellar system we have countless suns, double stars, clusters, and perhaps nebulae, subject one to another, bound together by the bonds of mutual gravitation. But also we have, possibly, runaway stars, wanderers from the depths beyond, passing through our starry system at a headlong rush which, it may be, not all the combined control of all the stars of light can check or hinder. If so, they doubtless will plunge into profounder distances, beyond the utmost stretch of human imagination, never to return. Verily, the great things and the little things of creation are subject to the same laws. A few closing words as to the possible comparative ages of different heavenly bodies may be of interest. The ages of worlds and suns cannot indeed be reckoned by years or by centuries. No record gives us the date, in past millenniums, of the birth of this or that bright orb. Yet, looking upon them from our little world, we see signs which seem to tell, in one of comparative youth, in another of comparative age. Nay, so marked are these signs, and so evidently is one stage succeeded by another stage, that, as in looking on boy and man we may say with confidence that the one has been, or the one will be, just like the other, so in looking on diverse heavenly bodies, we may conjecture that as one is, another has been or will be. Positive assertions are indeed, here as elsewhere, out of place. Watching the heavens as we do with limited sight, and for a very brief span, it behooves us to be careful even in conjecture. Though the marvel is that we can know so much, though the question may well be asked, what then must the true nature of that mind be, which thus freely associates itself with the things beyond the stars? Surely it must find its natural home among the infinitely remote both in space and in time. Still, caution linked with humility must be our watchword. For the utmost that we know is as nothing compared with the vast regions beyond which we do not know. Still, the more yonder heavens are searched, the more it does appear that development takes place among those shining hosts, even as among the little existences on earth. Our moon, for instance, seems to be a very old and used-up world, old not so much in centuries or millenniums, as in having reached a certain decrepit and worn-out phase of existence. One man is old and another is young at 60. In actual decades of centuries, the moon may reckon no more recurring birthdays than earth or sun, but in the social standing of the skies she is, or seems to be, very elderly, very much paid out, almost a dead world. Once upon a time, doubtless, the moon was a shining mass of rotating gases, vague and nebulous in form, and that was her extreme youth, her infancy, so to speak. For her actual birth, one would have to go farther back still. Then through ages, as gravitation drew the masses of gas nearer, she probably grew into a tiny sun or star, with a radiant photosphere and an atmosphere of heated gases in commotion. So tiny a sun would cool quickly, and by the radiance would die out as the little orb passed from vigorous youth to early middle life, reaching the present heated and molten but not luminous condition of Jupiter, after which would follow the advanced middle age, such as our earth has now attained to, though if the moon had by that time lost her atmosphere, it could not well be an inhabited stage. Lastly, she has gained her present half-dead phase of extreme old age. The sun is young still in the very heyday of his existence. Though now a huge, shapely ball, with a photosphere of radiant clouds and an envelope of heated gases, he was probably, once upon a time, a vast nebula of revolving gases, like such nebulae as we see now in the skies. A mutual attraction drew the gas particles slowly together. His enormous hazy bulk gradually lessened and took a definite form. But still he continues and will steadily continue to lessen in size, and this shrinkage is conjectured to cause the heat from which springs his glowing radiance. By and by, after countless ages, he may be expected to cool down further yet, first to a molten and then to a solid body, no longer giving out light or heat. Jupiter has passed from the gaseous and radiant to the heated but non-luminous condition. Earth, being smaller, has cooled and shrunk more rapidly than Jupiter, though by no means so rapidly as the still smaller moon. Thus, in Sun, Jupiter, Earth, Moon, we seem to see 4 distinct stages of star life: the radiant vigour of youth, the calmer warmth of manhood, the composed usefulness of middle age, the used-up chilliness of extreme old age. This may have been, and seemingly to us it has been, the mode in which our God gradually, stage by stage, made the stars and framed the worlds which float in the universe. These few paces have been trodden. Step by step we have advanced from the first early notion of our earth as the mighty centre of the universe to a stage where earth and planets vanish from sight, and the great central sun of our system himself shines forth but as one glimmering point of light amid a million stars. Well may we say, in the words of the inspired writer, as we gaze on the wonders of God's glorious creation, "When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest him?" And yet there is another side to the matter. Infinite in power, God is also infinite in love. Mighty in the creation of his vast and blazing suns, he is no less mighty in the creation of a blade of grass. The rushing stars of a universe are in his hand, but not a sparrow on earth may fall to the ground without his knowledge. He guides each distant sun in its pathway through the sky, and also he looks from his throne of light to ponder the ways of man. He tends his countless furnaces of fire and flame, yet the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Let us look into the matter as we will. Let us weigh, measure, calculate. Let us find our earth to be but as a grain of fine dust lost amid myriads of worlds and suns. Still, at the close of all, we stand face to face with the simple historical fact that the King of Heaven, the creator of the universe, himself lived as man for 33 years upon earth, died upon earth, rose from death upon earth, and went up again from earth to heaven. That sheds a distinguishing radiance upon our earth which, it may well be, no other world in all the universe can rival. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honour and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Revelations 4:11. End of section 28. End of Sun, Moon and Stars, Astronomy for Beginners by Agnes Giberne.